I had Malaysia ranked last on my list. Not because I had a reason. Because I didn't have a reason. It was just sitting there below Portugal, below Indonesia, below Thailand because that's where it had always been in my head. Familiar without being interesting. Southeast Asia's reliable middle child. Not as cinematic as Bali. Not as efficient as Singapore. Not as cheap as Vietnam. Just Malaysia. I want to be honest about that, because I think a lot of you have the same file on this country. And this video is the story of how that file got completely rewritten. I've looked seriously at nomad visa programs across 12 countries over the past 2 years. I've been through the Portugal D8 application. I've researched the UAE freelance permit. I've talked to people who went the Thai LTR route. I have a reference point for what these programs actually deliver versus what they advertise. And by every metric I care about, Malaysia's Duranto in 2026 is doing something the others aren't. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Because to understand why this visa matters right now, you have to understand what's happening to the alternatives. The cities that digital nomads adopted as permanent bases in 2021 and 2022 are in trouble. Lisbon's D8 visa program, which was supposed to be Europe's great nomad gateway, is sitting on backlogs that can run close to a year. And if you survive the wait and get approved, you arrive to discover that Lisbon is no longer the affordable European capital it was marketed as. One-bedroom rents have increased over 60% since 2020, according to Numbio's cost of living database. The visa worked. The city got discovered. The price followed. I spoke to a guy called James. UX designer, 34, from London. He spent 8 months pursuing the Portuguese route. Applied, waited, was rejected on a document technicality, reapplied, waited again, got approved. By the time he landed in Lisbon, his projected budget no longer fit the actual city. He lasted 4 months before he started looking at Southeast Asia seriously. He's been in Kuala Lumpur for 7 months now. He told me, completely unprompted, that he wishes he'd looked at Malaysia first. The same pressure is showing up everywhere. Bali's cost of living inflation has erased much of the gap with Western cities for anything above budget travel. Thailand's LTR visa, the one that gets promoted as the serious option, sets a $10,000 monthly income threshold for the standard tier. Achievable for some, but it prices out a large section of the remote workforce that would genuinely benefit from the program. Malaysia moved in the other direction. The 2026 Duranto Pass requires a minimum of $24,000 annual income if you're employed. That's $2,000 a month, or $60,000 annual income if you're self-employed or running your own business. The self-employed threshold is meaningful. This isn't a visa for people figuring out freelancing. It's designed for established remote workers. But the employed threshold is one of the most achievable of any quality nomad program in the world right now. The application process is digital first. No sponsor required. No arbitrary committee approval. You submit your employment contract or business documentation, proof of income, passport, and health insurance. The Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, which runs the program, has been processing approvals in an average of 18 working days for complete applications. Not months. Weeks. I want to tell you about Priya. Content strategist, 29, from Toronto. She met the income threshold with a single client contract. She submitted her documents on a Thursday. She was approved 3 weeks and 2 days later. She moved to KL with her partner under the dependent clause, which is included in the Duranto without additional income requirements. She told me the hardest part of the application was getting her employment letter formatted correctly. Everything else was exactly what it said it would be. Now let's talk money. Because the visa gets you there. But the cost of living is what makes you stay. Here's what a mid-range digital nomad lifestyle actually costs in Kuala Lumpur in 2026. A one-bedroom apartment in Mont Kiara or Bangsar South, both popular expat neighborhoods with international standard amenities, runs between $500 and $750 per month. A co-working membership at a proper space, common ground or colony or go work, runs $80 to $150 per month depending on the tier. Food is where KL gets genuinely absurd. You can eat restaurant quality, fresh, varied food at hawker centers and local restaurants for $200 to $300 a month. Transport between Grab and the LRT network is $50 to $80. Home internet and a mobile data plan together run about $40. Add it up and you're living comfortably, not cutting corners, not eating instant noodles for $1,200 to $1,600 a month. Total. Singapore has infrastructure that rivals any city on earth. And a one-bedroom apartment near the central business district runs $2,500 to $3,500 per month. Bangkok is cheaper on rent, but anyone who's tried to run a business there will tell you that internet reliability and co-working quality are genuinely inconsistent outside the premium zones. Bali has an aesthetic that's hard to argue with. It also has power outages, traffic that moves at 8 km per hour at rush hour, and a healthcare system with meaningful gaps that matter when you actually need it. I met a software architect in KL, Amir, 41, originally from Frankfurt. He spent 6 months building a city comparison spreadsheet before making his decision. He chose KL. He told me he's saving $2,200 per month compared to what the equivalent lifestyle cost him in Berlin while working on faster internet. That last part surprised him most. Ookla's Speedtest Global Index ranked Malaysia 19th in the world for fixed broadband median download speed in 2024. Above the United Kingdom. Above the United States. But here's what most nomad guides miss entirely. The cost and the visa are just the entry point. The thing that actually explains why people who come to KL don't leave is the infrastructure underneath the city. KL Central, the central transport hub, connects 4 rail lines, the Airport Express, and the intercity rail network in a single building. You get from the center of the city to the international airport in 28 minutes. Not 45 minutes on a good day. 28 minutes, consistently, for a few dollars. Healthcare. Malaysia ranks 4th in Asia Pacific for healthcare quality and affordability in the International Living Index. A private consultation at a good hospital in KL costs between $15 and $40. Not because the care is lower quality, because the pricing structure is different. I talked to a remote therapist named Sarah, originally from Melbourne, who came to KL to save money and stayed for this. She had a minor surgical procedure that had been quoted at $4,200 in Australia. She paid $310 at a private hospital in Damansara. She described the facility as better than any she had used in Australia. And then there's the language. Malaysia is the 3rd largest English-speaking country in Asia by population, according to Ethnologue's language data. Not a country where English works if you speak loudly enough and look confused. A country where contracts, signage, business communication, and daily service interaction happen naturally in English. You arrive fluent. That is not the case in Thailand. That is not the case in Indonesia. That is not a small thing. The thing that hits you in KL on a normal Tuesday morning is how functional it is. The air conditioning in the train works. The Wi-Fi in the cafe works. The food arrives quickly. These sound like minor details until you've spent 3 months in a city where none of those things are reliable, and you realize that baseline reliability is the invisible foundation under everything you're trying to build professionally. If you've been watching this and thinking, why has no one told me this before, that's exactly the question I want you to sit with. Because the answer says something important. Subscribe to Hidden Realms. We cover the places that mainstream travel and expat media consistently underestimates, underfunds, and undervalues. If that's what you want, hit subscribe now. Because what I'm about to say is the part of this story that makes me genuinely angry. There is a narrative about Malaysia that runs consistently through Western media, Western expat forums, and Western travel content. It positions Malaysia as a developing country option. The destination you settle for when you can't afford somewhere better. The backup plan. The compromise. I want to be clear about what this narrative is doing and who it serves. It serves the real estate markets in Lisbon, Berlin, and London, which have every incentive to keep the story that their cities are the serious places to build a career. It serves the visa consultants who charge premium fees to guide people through more complicated, more expensive, more uncertain application processes in other jurisdictions. It serves the travel content ecosystem that built its audience on Bali and Bangkok and has no strategic reason to redirect that audience somewhere that disrupts the existing hierarchy. And here is what that narrative erases. The World Bank classifies Malaysia as an upper-middle income economy. GDP per capita comparable to several current European Union member states. CLIA Kuala Lumpur International Airport has been ranked in the global top 10 for passenger experience by Skytrax 3 consecutive years. It is, by objective measurement, a better airport than Heathrow, LAX, and Charles de Gaulle. 13 Malaysian universities currently rank in the QS World University Rankings. The country produces more STEM graduates per capita than most of Western Europe. Malaysia is not the budget option. It is the option that has decided not to overcharge you. Those are not the same thing, and the conflation of the two has been expensive for a lot of people who made decisions based on a lazy assumption they never thought to question. While commentators in London and New York write condescending pieces about budget Southeast Asia, thousands of approved Duranto holders are running six-figure remote businesses from a city with faster internet, better hospitals, lower costs, and a functioning transport system. The narrative is not just wrong. It is actively protecting someone else's overpriced cost of living. Now I said I'd give you the full picture. And a full picture requires honesty about what doesn't work. The self-employed income threshold $60,000 per year is real, and it excludes people who are still building their freelance income. This visa is for established remote workers. If you're at the start of your freelancing journey, the math doesn't work yet. That's not a criticism of the program. It's a fact worth knowing before you plan a move. Malaysian bureaucracy still has legacy paper processes. Some document requirements are interpreted differently by different processing officers. If you go in with incomplete documentation, or with an employment letter that doesn't quite match the format, you will lose time. The application rewards preparation. It does not forgive improvisation. Malaysia is a majority Muslim country with conservative public norms in certain contexts. Alcohol exists and is widely available, particularly in the areas where most expats live, but it is more expensive than in most Western cities and unavailable in some neighborhoods. For LGBTQ+ individuals, the legal environment is genuinely restrictive. Same-sex relationships are illegal under federal law, and that reality needs to be researched carefully before any relocation decision. I'm not going to minimize it. Traffic in KL without strategic use of the rail network is a genuine quality of life problem. And between August and October, haze from regional agricultural burning regularly pushes KL's air quality into unhealthy ranges. If you have respiratory issues, that's a meaningful consideration. A videographer I know named Daniel from Chicago, 38, arrived in KL expecting a frictionless transition and spent his first 3 weeks stuck on an apostille document issue that should have been caught before he left. He fixed it. He's still there. But he lost 3 weeks of setup momentum to a problem that was entirely avoidable. His advice: the visa process is cleaner than almost anywhere else in Asia. That doesn't mean you can skip the preparation. So here's where I land. I've spent 2 years mapping nomad visa programs with the specific intention of finding the best combination of quality of life, infrastructure reliability, affordability, and application honesty, meaning programs that deliver what they say they deliver. The Duranto in 2026 sits at the intersection of those four things in a way that I have not found in any comparable program. The program is growing. MDEC has publicly committed to expanding the approved pass count significantly through 2026. The infrastructure investment in KL is ongoing, not legacy. The city is being built into something, not coasting on what it already has. Amara is a brand consultant from Paris. She's 32. She moved to KL 9 months ago. I asked her what she'd tell someone who was still on the fence. She said, "I came for the visa. I stayed for the life. I didn't know those would be different things until I got here." The last time I was in KL, I was working from a co-working space on the 32nd floor of a building in Bukit Bintang. The city runs in every direction from the windows. The Petronas towers are visible if you lean slightly left. The internet was running at 300 megabits. The coffee cost $2. I have worked in Berlin, in Lisbon, in Singapore, in Bangkok, and in Dubai. I could not think of a single place I would rather be doing what I do. If this helped you think clearer about your next move, subscribe. More coming. Now I want to hear from you. Is Malaysia the most underrated relocation destination in Asia right now, or do you think Bali, Bangkok, or Singapore still have the real edge for remote workers in 2026? Make your case in the comments. I read every one.